Progressive Health Forum is calling on the Gauteng government to start an urgent inquiry into the conduct of the Rahimaa Moosa Mother and Child Hospital CEO and to look at the administrative acts allegedly said to be taken against Dr. Tim de Maayer. The forum believes that Dr. de Maayer, might be victimized for lifting the lid on genuine concerns that healthcare workers and patients are facing on a daily basis. He, you might remember, was suspended earlier this month and later reinstated following backlash, and now he's been told to apologize to the hospital CEO, amongst other things. Let's get you an update on what we might know at this stage. Bring in Professor Adam Mahomed, who's at the Charlotte Maxeke Academic Hospital. Prof, it's great to have you on the program once again. Thank you very much indeed for making time. Let me ascertain from you what you've been able to ascertain around what happened following the backlash and the lifting of Dr. Maayer's suspension.
Good morning to you and your viewers as well. I think what has happened is the blanket has been pulled over our eyes in Gauteng and in South Africa by the health authorities in Gauteng. You have a situation where someone does a crazy thing and institutes a suspension against a doctor. Big uproar from the public. The MEC gets involved, has a long meeting, and everything seems fine. Within a few days, you get a warning that this is not the end of it, a disciplinary action, and a warning is going to be implemented, and you're going to get a formal warning implemented against you. The entire health department keeps quiet. The media personnel, the spin doctors of the health department, Gauteng Department of Health, are all quiet in the last week. But who's hanging out there? The person who has enough strength and integrity to highlight the deficiencies in the healthcare system. What have we heard about the actual message from Dr. Tim de Maayer? Absolutely nothing. But we are being hoodwinked that everything is fine. And it's just appalling and shocking at what has happened. And it might seem irrelevant. He's just getting a warning. But it tarnishes his message, his image. And I'm sorry, GDH, MEC, HOD, DOD, every single person who's in this line of deception and lies are not being held accountable for what they are doing, which is smoke screens of the reality of what's happening in the Gauteng Department of Health and the state of healthcare for the vulnerable patients in Gauteng.
Sure. What exactly was Dr. de Maayer told after the lifting of the suspension, that he's getting a warning and also told to apologize? For what exactly?
He apologized for speaking to the media, apologized for being disrespectful, apologized for unprofessional conduct. And he's the type of person who's bigger than where we are right now. He would apologize. There's no issue of him apologizing. He would do that immediately, and I think he probably has. It's the principle of you are being suspended for a petty issue of not following administrative rules, which is yet to stand up to a court of law to say, did he or did he not? Then you have the MEC that comes in and plays what's peacemaker, which is just, I'm sorry, it's just a role that she's doing, which is no real substance. And then you're going to have a warning letter. And he is under immense pressure and victimization at that hospital. And again, I want to ask, who did the suspension? Who instituted it? Where's the transparency? There is a lot of unhappiness at Rahimaa Moosa, besides all the other hospitals, and nothing is being taken into account. You're holding up a doctor? What about the administrators, the management, the CEO? Have they not failed? Where's the disciplinary hearings against them for not giving safe, and I mean safe, care to patients?
Absolutely.
We're not talking amazing care, safe care.
Yeah. Of course, we've reached out to the health department. They are actually in line to be able to respond to what's taken place. And the sense I'm getting from their response to our producers is that they're washing their hands of this entire thing. I'm going to read you their response to us verbatim. They say, any disciplinary process in the department, including at facilities, is a matter between the employer and the employee. And as such, the department is not in a position to discuss this matter any further. They go on to say that they maintain that the matter itself has been resolved amicably. Is that good enough?
All I can use one word to describe that. Lies, lies, lies. it does fall under the Gauteng Department of Health, because you have a central Gauteng Department of Health, HR department, which all departments report to. That's simple logic. You have a pyramid, and everyone reports to the subdivisions in the Gauteng Department of Health. Let me explain to you what Tim is up. The South African Human Rights Commission was there this week. And the comment made by one of those members that went to look at that hospital, the management lacks insight, does not understand the challenges that are happening, and was found to be obstructive, impolite, and actually against the principles of why they are there. They actually there to try to enhance and to help and facilitate. What happens? They actually get such a nasty response from the management in particular. I don't want to go and pick on an individual, because this is not about the CEO or an individual. This is about collective accountability. And my sadness is the Premier also came out in public support saying, Tim, let's look at the message. He's the captain of the ship, the embassy, all the other admirals and that. The ship is sinking, and every week we're plugging in more holes. But we're using this to deflect the fraud, the corruption, the incompetence of where we are right now. It's just absolutely shocking. Let me give you an example. Have we heard anything about a CT scan for Rahimaa Moosa for the last 2 years? We know there's a disaster there. We know those patients are being put at risk in an unsafe environment. But we don't see anyone coming out and talking about it. To wash your hands off, even if it's not your responsibility as the captain of the ship, I'm sorry, that shows you lack integrity. You don't have the resolve to fight injustice. And if you can't see this as injustice, you are blind, and this is a shocking reflection of where we are in Gauteng. And I feel sorry for my colleagues. I feel sorry for the public. But there is hope. And what's the hope? Media outlets like your news channel, people out there, politicians who are listening and have a heart, stand up together with the healthcare workers of this country and say enough is enough. Stop being hoodwinked with this NHI and all the political things about it. Let's just get today right, next week right. When the elections come, we'll worry about the NHI. But right now, people are dying every day. People are not getting safe care every day. And we have the audacity to say, washing our hands of this incident. Our money comes from Gauteng Department of Health. Does not come from Rahimaa Moosa. So on a technicality, I will even challenge you that they're wrong. I'm embarrassed.
Yeah. You mentioned some politicians there who might be, I guess, listening to what you have to say. Do you have a sympathetic ear within the Gauteng Health Department? Are you finding that in most instances you're actually just speaking to dead ends or meeting up with dead ends, I should say?
I think they are really good at listening, but they're not hearing the message. And I'm speaking to a stone wall, in my opinion. We're going on for so long in Gauteng Department of Health. We're going on so long for the healthcare abuses issues in this province. We've had hundreds of people die from life esidimeni. The judge reprimanded healthcare workers for not talking out. And now when the one guy does that, talks about injustice, violation of rights, what do? Let's go and torture him so that no one else will have the integrity to stand up. It's our right. It's the people's right to actually stand up in injustice. This is not about whistleblowing. I don't like that word. This is about fairness, transparency, and justice for those that can't talk. And again, we're talking about children. We're talking about pregnant women. We're talking about water. And, to have this level of conversation at such a basic level in a country that spends so much money on healthcare, it's shocking. Tell me about the reports of the fire, of the corruption. We're quiet about that. Nobody's washing their hands of that. Everybody's washing their hands with illegal money. So where's the transparency? It's just absolutely shocking, and we must mobilize to make change happen.
As mentioned, the Progressive Health Forum is calling for an inquiry into what actually took place at Rahimaa Moosa Hospital, because there are growing perceptions that this is obviously has grown beyond what took place with Dr. de Maayer. Is that a call you support?
I support that 100%. We've asked for transparency in the Charlotte Maxeke fire issues, the PPE issues, the tender issues, the Anglo-Ashanti, all of these hospitals that were built with COVID. Put independent people to be part of this. Don't just put people there as puppets. Let them be part of the process so they can give legitimacy to all your inquiries. There are tons of people with integrity that will serve on these communities for free. You don't even have to pay them. The Progressive Health Forum is one of the organizations of many that are fighting to save this country. Let's use them to give us justification in anything that we're doing. Don't tie our hands and tell them, come to a meeting, but you can't say anything. We must support these organizations and write to our politicians, write to the president, write to the premier, write to the ministers. Can you imagine if the president gets 10 million letters? Wow. He has to has to stop and take notice. The premier of Gauteng, let's write to him another 5 million letters. He has to notice what we're doing. People out there, we are in power, not the other way around.
Absolutely. From your lips to God's ears. Professor Adam Mahomed, thanks very much indeed for speaking to us. I hope this is resolved at the very least, because quite literally lives are at stake. Prof, once again, appreciate your time. Professor Mahomed is with the Charlotte Maxeke Academic Hospital.